Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL. Alon.
This Walsh.
What's up, bud?
What's up, Wildcard, bud?
Wildcard week. You won the fantasy baseball playoffs. Things are on the up and up.
Fucking winning fantasy baseball league feels unbelievable.
FPL's just a free hit now. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You're in the
let's
Hall
not
of Fame.
get carried away, but you know.
Gonna do one thing of admin, which we never do. I feel like we never talk about our Patreon, but we got a question from this dude Nez, and I feel like I was like, you know what? Fucking, I'll answer it on the pod. He said, "Hey, Alon, can you tell me a little more about the live stream? Is it a deadline stream? How long is it? What's the vibe? The deadline streams I listen to are just X or Y, quick fire, blah, blah, blah. Keen to try yours out, but not sure if I can commit to 12 months without seeing how they go."
What's a deadline stream?
It's
Is that something other people do?
Every other podcast does. If you're in the advantageous time zone, you do a deadline stream and get like fucking 100,000 people watching you live on YouTube as like approaching the dead. Like, this is what they do. Watch me. They're doing this like, oh, apparently Haaland starts today. And then the chat freaks out. And then someone like asks like, do I start Rodgers or ESR? And they're like, I'd start Rodgers. And then like they get another tweet notification. And they're like, oh, like Diaz starts today. And everyone just freaking out of leaks. And it's a nightmare. It's nothing we would ever do. And it's not what we do at all. You want to explain to the people what we do?
I'm a little tilted right now. Why don't you do it? I don't think I can. I need to like.
I tilted you off about the content. Okay. Yeah. So it's not a deadline stream at all. We almost always do it on Friday when there's not a Friday game. When there's a Friday game, it's up in the air. Maybe we do Thursday, maybe not. I'd say it's average an hour and a half, maybe a little longer at the beginning of the season, and then a little shorter as we go further in the season. And basically it's me, Walsh, and everyone who signed up for that tier on our Patreon in Discord in a private like stage channel. And we just pull people up one at a time onto the stage, as they call it on Discord. We pull up your team, and me, you, and Walsh just talk about your team and like what moves are, what you're thinking and what moves you could or could not do. And yeah, that's basically it, right?
Yep.
It's a good job. It's really fun.
Yeah,
vibes are
really
chill
fun.
and good.
Funny, a lot of laughter.
I laugh a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of, psychos.
Laughter, as per.
Yeah. So that's that. That's my bit of admin.
All right,
get that out of the way.
Good job, buddy.
How'd you do this week? Team Walsh.
I was doing a lot better until Sunday, as expected, since I am still diamond handling no Haaland. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. So like of course the one game he's gonna blank against Arsenal, he just 9-pointer, gets more points than like everyone on my fucking team.
And he scored so early. It was just I was fucking.
Like, oh fuck, this is gonna be another minimum 13-point brace.
It felt like a brace for sure.
Yeah, felt like a brace. Wasn't a brace, thank God. But I put 70 in. Good score.
Good.
Team's good. Everything's good. 4 frees right now. So
4 frees.
4, baby. So we got a lot of activity to do.
What do you got?
This
You're
week.
at 150K.
150K, yeah.
And that's beautiful, man.
I was 50K going to sleep on Saturday. And then
that'll happen. Yeah. So when are you gonna get Holland? Are you gonna get him this week or next week? And that's really the question.
That's why we're potting. That's part of the reason why we pot.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it feels more urgent to get Haaland than Saka is kind of where my head's at.
I could see
it. I might get neither. Like there are a lot of options over here. I really have no idea what I'm going to do. I've been playing around with so many different permutations and my head's all over the place on that.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, everything's, Palm God at a dong, Rodgers, Hodl Rodgers finally coming in and getting more bonus points after 24 hours after the game.
Fucking
Love to see
kills
that. Boomo, more bonus point, or getting a bonus point 24 after the game. Love to see that. So,
and your Robbo Trent haul, I love that.
Robbo Trent back. It's two cleans in the 3 games that I've had them both, which has been fucking amazing. And Raya, almost a 6.4. I mean, Raya's just a fucking cheat code. So yeah. João Pedro really the only.
Who didn't have João Pedro this week? If you go to my team, it's the Isak João Pedro show. I'm just happy I got a point. I mean, when Nico came on and instantly within 30 seconds gets a yellow card, I was like, I'm definitely getting a 0-point auto sub today. But luckily, the late João Pedro.
Yeah, but dude, imagine if you did like João to DCL, you would have spent a transfer for 1 point.
Yeah. Or done a double move for Isak to Ollie. It's like, okay, Ollie got 6? It's like, but I burned transfers.
Yeah.
So after also listening back to a bit of the me and LR pod, we kind of talked about exactly that scenario, and it was just like, I just want the freeze. Like, I want future planning. I want flexibility. I'm not. There's no haul. I don't see any fucking. There's no equivalent of like a Holland home banker that I can transfer into. So but 61 for me. Another small red. Well, last week was a big red. This time it's a small red. Fine. Hendo came up huge. Finally got any points. ESR got gifted a goal. Love to see that. Thank you, Pope. Mo, Captain Mo, fine. Holland,
Newcastle.
good.
God.
Yeah,
Scam.
I mean, they
scammed us. Edward got us again.
They're fucking joke. I mean, their defense is a big reason why it's like even a decision point to be like Holland this week. Like away Newcastle at the beginning of the season was like, I'm not captaining Holland that week because Arsenal are home Leicester. And I mean, I've been on Captain Holland.
He's the captain.
He's the captain for me. Like I for sure on him. Maybe by the end of the week I'll be convinced of like Saka, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. You want to do the housekeeping stuff?
Mug leaders. 1 game week to go. So here are the September mug leaders. Lou Gutierrez in first, aka False 11. Viral Shaw, aka S. Cairn de Burrow. Don't know what that means. aka Vax on Discord in second. And Chris Carter in third, aka Champion Cocos. Good job by all of you. Lyle Mosley, aka Don't Panic. Public League leader. And off we go.
So you're the wildcard boy this week.
I'm the wildcard boy. Me and
half of the universe.
50% of our Discord, maybe. Like judging by the questions, it's about 50% of the Discord. Yeah. So I have some notes. I think some of them we'll just talk about on Thursday because I had a unsuspected 5-hour detour to my day today. Well, but
was it unsuspected?
It was unsuspected because I made the eye doctor appointment 1 year ago and forgot about it.
We'll go with that.
But we got a lot of questions, and I think that'll cover a lot of the things that we were going to talk about anyway. The one big thing that happened today was Rodri out for the season, ACL. Not sure how this would impact FPL, but you've all said, how does it impact Lewis as a pick? To me, it improves his minutes, but reduces clean sheet chances. I mean, is there anything FPL related with Rodri?
Well, my biggest thing is like Gundo feels like an option to me.
Yeah. Could be Gundo season.
It just puts, when Rodri is fit, there's a black hole on one of the spots, and it's like everyone else is fighting for all the other spots.
Yeah. It's like 4 players for 2 spots or 5 for 2 spots.
Yeah. And, and that's, it's probably, but it makes them not picks. And now with him gone, Gundo seems like a pick to me.
And I feel like he's gonna 5-5. He has a goal and an assist,
Kovacic
all exclusively in minutes when Rodri wasn't playing. his returns.
Yeah, he just feels so much more brittle and just worse in general to me for FPL wise. Whereas Gundo, we've seen him go on little runs and making his late runs into the box. And, he hit the post this weekend.
Yep.
Him putting up numbers we've seen. And I feel like he's just going to play. He's going to obviously play more than they expected he would play when they got him. But with Rodri out and you look at who's going to be playing, if they try and ride Kovacic hard, he's just going to break soon. And Gundo obviously isn't the defensive stalwart of any type of central midfielder, but he knows what he's doing. And
he's the king of the late arrival to the box.
Yeah.
Get a return.
I just feel like that there's an opening there for Gundo. And in terms of Rico, look, it opens up more than 0 minutes for him in that position. I feel like it's going to be more of something that's giving him more minutes for just tactical flexibility, for not subbing him off or something, where he could game state wise push him up or something like that. I mean, to me, Rico is still really just Walker and Gvard and center back dependent and game and enemy dependent of when he's
so
play.
Hard to. Yeah. I mean, maybe let's jump to Rico, because I think that he's not. I think we're still at the stage of the season where it doesn't feel like he's blocking a City spot that I want. There's not like 3 to 5 City guys where I'm like, oh, I need these guys. Then there's also, he's still a huge risk. He got ripped off at 45 and then didn't play. So that's not a combo. We guessed he wouldn't play versus Arsenal, but getting subbed off at 45 was very unsuspecting. And then, he still has that upside of just like, but if he just starts the easy games, he's like borderline best defender in the pick in the game. I mean, how have things changed for you? You've owned him since like game week 3 or something. Like, are you worried about him or considering getting rid of him or what?
Well, it's complicated because I have Trent Robbo, and he's obviously a suspect pick because we don't know when he's going to start. And, clearly there's an emergence of Liverpool, Konate, I'm sure we'll talk about at some point, 5 million.
Yep.
Gab, who seems to just get a set piece goal every game right now, 2 and 2. He's blocking someone, but he's also 4-5 or 4-7 now or whatever. So the question more is for me, the rest of your team, how much better is your team and how many transfers does it need to either upgrade him or downgrade him? Like for you on Wildcard, we'll talk about that as we go, but what does the structure look like when you have him, and how happy and comfortable are you with the backup? Because as we saw, you can't plan for a halftime ripping off.
No, that's
the Arsenal
that's
game.
Separate.
Yeah. The Arsenal game, for example, you don't want him to sub on that game. You have him in FPL is if he starts, great. And he's in my team, and we're thinking that's a clean sheet going in, and you're fine. And if he doesn't start, then he doesn't sub on, and you get your bench guy. So that's how that's going to look. So not much has changed. Like the Ake injury is helpful because he plays at left back sometimes, and they just don't have a lot of guys. They have a midweek game, which is, I'm sure he's going to start midweek, and then you can, write your own story from that point on of what it means for Newcastle. And, it's just so much of what Pep's thinking for specific games and who he wants for which games. Like, he's clearly less defensive. Look, Walker is fucking old. And look, it's been one game. Like, we know how trusted he is for Pep, and Walker's been there for 15 years. But if it's like Barnes and piss hair, do I want Rico or do I want Walker? He's like, I might just want Walker and, let Gvard play in the box. Or if not, he's like, I'll just play Gvard and Rico will go and then we'll do this. And, that kind of thing could just happen game to game. So I think you need to really, it's back to just, you can't look at it every game, kind of like you need to really just make your call. And if you're faint of heart, then he's not your pick, because you want to just get guys that you can just play and not think about.
Yeah, I think about him a lot. There will be 1-pointers. 100% there will be blood. But also you're rolling the dice that there will also be 10-pointers. There will be clean assist bone type of games. which seems realistic. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me.
Yeah.
If like that's where you want to place your risk or not. I'm not sure because I could see both sides of like this is just a fucking headache. Why am I getting a not nailed blah blah blah? Who's going to play 45 or auto sub on for 10 minutes? But yeah, I totally understand if people are going there. I'm very undecided if I'm going to go there.
As you should be. It's a very difficult call. I mean, I'm just still more pissed that I have Pau, but that's a different conversation for a different time.
That was a bad advice by me.
Well, not really. I mean, I was on the Villa defender. It was just
we got baited by fixtures. Why. This is like pin this to the fucking postmortem wall. Do not get baited by fixtures. If a bad defense has good fixtures, There's still don't want their fucking players.
Yeah. It's so frustrating because I feel like I shouldn't be making this kind of mistake after playing the game for this long.
We're all going to make some mistakes. I mean, genuinely, looking at your wildcard team, I think you basically knocked it out of the park.
That's the only regret I have.
So that's good. You know, like having one regret out of 15 is very good. When I wildcard, it's usually like
Rushworth.
11 regrets. So, you know.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, Lewis. And then in terms of the clean sheet, I mean, look, obviously their clean sheet percentage is going to get dinged from not having Rodri. So yeah, of course, it definitely goes down.
Has to go down, but how much?
Have you been thinking about Gundu or not on Wildcard?
Not at all. Haven't fucked with them at all. Maybe I should. I mean, I'll write it down to look at. I have a lot more. I have a lot of work to do. I think Thursday is going to be a big pod for me of me just like throwing questions at you. I've been thinking about this. I've been doing this. I've been tinkering with this. And hearing what you have to say about it.
Yeah. I think you should look at Gundo.
Yeah. Mo Saka questions. Big Daddy said, for those not on Wildcard, is Mo Saka worth it? Feels like it'll be a lot harder to get Mo back if it's done. He's done nothing to deserve being sold. Jitterbug, it looks like a popular move is to sell Mo for Saka this week, especially amongst robotters. Does this make Mo cap even better? It'll be a bigger differential, and Wolves have had big defensive issues at the moment.
Well, where are you at with Wildcard? Are you like no Mo, not at all, and it's Saka and you're redistributing the 2 million, or how are you seeing it?
I wouldn't say no Mo is 100%. It's likely though, because Saka and Haaland are 100%. I mean, I think my only untouchables, and this was kind of like a Parmo question I'm working into, which is like, who are the must-haves or whatever for Wildcard 6, but I only have 4 right now this second. And it's Haaland, it's Saka, it's Trent, and it's Buma. Those are the only. There is
not Raya.
Not Raya.
That's crazy. We'll have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about that.
There's no one else that's like completely untouchable out of those.
Okay. But I think those 4.
Just starting with those, it's hard to get Moen. It's hard to get Moen and have a team you like.
You can't.
So for me, like he's very likely not in my team. But for you, not on Wildcard, what are you thinking? Because I would do that move. I think it's an upgrade.
Yeah, I think it's very close. I think it's very close. Like to me, with 4 frees, it's so much more than just that move. Like it's almost like this question is not.
That's fair.
It's not. You can't reasonably answer this question without knowing the context of the team because. Look, when you're looking at Mo for the near run of fixtures, you're not going to captain him until game week 16. So it's not a matter to me of when am I, or if am I, it's when are you going to get rid of him? Because at 12.5, when you have Palmer and Saka there who are offering more or less very comparable value, the correct thing to do is make it a fixture play. I'm not that certain that home Leicester is like an unbelievable fall. Let me fall over for this fixture. It's going to be incredible because they haven't really been that yet. I mean, they rode their luck a little bit in the Spurs game week 1. And then afterwards, like, look, they just have a lot of like veteran Premier League players.
Cooper, veteran shithousers.
Yeah, just like, so and I think I watch Wolves. I've seen a lot of Wolves this year. I'm like, they're a mess. And Arsenal have PSG midweek between Leicester and Southampton. Yep. like if I'm looking at this from just this week, where there's no way you're captaining Saka over Haaland. I don't think that's the thing.
A lot of people will.
Yeah, I don't think that's correct.
Agree. But
yeah,
it's not like crazy. Like I'm not going to be like, you're a fucking idiot.
No,
like, yeah.
Fine. But I wouldn't do that. Like if I had those two players, I think the Haaland thing of like only home bankers needs to be reevaluated.
No,
because
it's definitely reevaluated.
They're showing us something different than we've seen yet with him and the way he looks, et cetera, and so on. So from that standpoint, like I'm almost feeling like I would rather wait until next week to do it, but then you're like, is this a 1 week punt?
Yeah, because
then Saka's fixtures turn really quickly, and then I just
home
like
Southampton and then away Bournemouth.
At Bournemouth,
which by the way, we'll talk about Bournemouth.
It's not that
soon.
bad.
Yeah,
it's not that bad for Saka. I mean, and then Mo's go down. So I like if you have one free, like what you could do with two if you do it next week is the Wolves fixture to like I kind of think at Wolves is better than home Leicester, and we still don't. Yeah, well, we don't also know that Leicester or that Arsenal without Odegaard, or like we think they're going to just flow and create chances. They might just not. They still we haven't seen that.
Yeah, we haven't.
So that's a leap of faith as well. So there's a lot of unknown there. Is where I'm coming from, and if I'm on Wildcard and you can take the 2-5 and put it around, and that's enough of an edge for me to want to have Saka over Mo on Wildcard. I'm sure if I was tinkering, that's where I would be.
Yeah, it's pretty easy on Wildcard. I think.
But if you own Mo, I think it's very complicated. I think it's very hard. I think it's like the hardest.
Every FPL question, I hate when people write into our questions like take price out of the equation or just objectively like this player versus. I'm like, that doesn't exist in FPL. I'm like, how many frees do you have? How much money do you have in the bank? Do you have Haaland? Like all of these things matter a lot to like if you're doing Mo to Saka. Yeah, exactly. It's like, do you have fit other players? Like some people have like no defenders. I'm like, well, but yeah, I think I would do it. I think it's an upgrade. I still think home Leicester's way better than away Wolves.
Okay.
I mean, Leicester also, like, they rode their luck in the Spurs game. They could have conceded like 4 in that first half. They did concede 2 and a lot of chances to Fulham. They conceded 2 and some chances versus Villa. They kind of got stomped by Palace, even though it took the late pen. It's still like a lot of chances.
Yeah, it was a weird game.
And then Everton, whatever, they're fucking Everton. But like the strength of schedule has been good. Like they've had easy fixtures so far. They haven't come up against a top attack at all yet. And so I just think, Arsenal raring to go. I think they're just going to get blown away. Mm-hmm. Whereas, Wolves are hard for me to evaluate too because I know Mascara actual fucking what did it come out what the actual injury was? Is it like season?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's season. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean it's 13 minutes, but Wolves have had a hard schedule. They've played Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Villa, and then NFO, who all of a sudden are like maybe a top 10 team, and their numbers are not great, but they're not as bad as Leicester with the harder schedule. So, whatever. It is what it is. But I would make the move. I think Saka's the better pick for at least 3-ish fixtures.
It's just that's the kind of thing where you're transferring great player with a good fixture for great player with a good fixture. I'm like, this free transfer could be a -8.
It could be. Absolutely.
I hate that.
Well, we also
hate doing those moves.
We have not brought up Liverpool's Game Week 7 fixture, which is at Eagles at the Palace, which as of right now is a fucking amazing attacking fixture. Yeah. Like they cannot defend for shit. Like United should have scored 3 in the first half.
Yeah.
Will they be a little bit in better shape by 7? Maybe, but as of right now, it's not. But I still. Compared to Arsenal, home Southampton, it's still not close for me. Like those two still.
Well, the Southampton's crazy. I mean, that tilts the field crazy in terms of this conversation in an extraordinary way. But I don't know. I mean, because there's still something there for me with Mo, where it's just like, just keep him.
If I
it's just like Mo and Haaland. Like
if I wasn't wildcarding. I don't know what I would do. It'd be really hard for me to get rid of Mo. He's done
nothing to get rid of.
In his blanks, he's still creating chances, taking a bunch of shots in the box constantly. His underlyings are
might get a pen
humongous.
this year, right?
Yeah, there's no pens this year though, right?
They could get a pen.
They could get a pen.
Yeah.
Before the international break, maybe.
Whoa.
There's been 1, 2, 3, 4. There's been 6 pens.
But I guess it's back to 2 with him. Is the fixtures get tougher. To me, the captaincy thing's huge. Like, you're not captaining him. 2.5 is a big difference.
Yeah.
It can't be right to hold him through this difficult run while he's going to just get more tired as he's the oldest he's ever been.
Yeah, and Liverpool also have Champions League, right? It's not just Arsenal.
No,
and then after Palace, he fucking flies to Africa to play with Egypt. And it's like, Jesus fucking
who doesn't have
Christ.
Europe? Palm God,
not registered, no problem. Home Brighton, home NFL, easy.
I can't get rid of him.
He's so good. He's so good.
Like I was playing around with like this because I need to get Holland. I need to find money. Like
it's Mo. Mo's the bank. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't get rid of Palmer.
Yeah, Chelsea, it's man. Really, they are just like
I can't bring myself to do it.
It's too early, obviously, but like as of right now, it's kind of hard for me to imagine them like not being the 4th best team in the country.
You know who else should be nailed in your wildcard team? Colwill.
I've had Fofana.
Sure.
Yeah, you mentioned like Raya. I think Bob Sanch is on the list. He's been great, and Chelsea defense is very underrated. They're just good.
Yeah,
their back four is the right back is fucking shit. Whether it's Disasi or Fofana, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, Fofana's
eventually like Gusto or Reese will play a fucking game, or he'll figure someone out. Someone in their 45-person squad can play right back capably, maybe.
So you're thinking of monstering as the 4-5 instead of Raya?
Yeah, my list of potential keepers is like any of the premiums. I think are on the list.
Sure,
Raya, Allison, Ederson, Bart,
only
Sells,
2 of them are fit, but sure.
Bart, Sells, and Bob Sanch, and it's basically that's it. That's the list.
I still think Raya's just like.
Yeah, I might go there for sure, but I just don't think it's 100% because they have so many good picks. They have so many good picks.
The bonus points.
Yeah. Did he get some this time?
He was going to get one until the concession because Calafiori wasn't on, so it didn't minus him. So,
oh god,
that's good. No, it's good.
The system is just.
It's good. Raya was by a million miles the best Arsenal player
for BPS.
No, just watching. Like
games, yeah.
Like he was just saving them nonstop. But yeah.
And you know what we're not going to do this podcast is talk about a fucking. Oh, should this have been a red card? Oh, should he be fucking? Dude, fuck off! I don't fucking care. Kidding me? All right, where do we go to next year? Oh, some Spurs questions. I'm just kind of going through the things before we go all the wild card questions. So in Glacius' situation, we'd be considering Matto, Ozzy. They seem pretty all out of tech as Solanke an option, and Giannis. The Spurs that appeared versus Brentford can score 3 to almost every team in their next run. So much potential. Is it the moment to jump on them? So they finally got some goals and had an Ange, good performance, and everyone's buzzing. And what'd you see there?
Spurs, man. So every week it's like spin the Spurs wheel and then
I know.
We land on a new spot and it's like a new story we tell ourselves. They played well.
I wonder who watched the game. Like who watched that game?
I didn't. I didn't watch this game.
I
watched the extended highlights.
And I'm just guessing on the numbers, but 3/4 of their chances came from just a Brentford defender passing to a midfielder, Spurs midfielder. It was a fucking ridiculous joke. And I know all Spurs defenders right now are saying like, yeah, well, we lead the league in like high turnovers in our press and like, cool. But most teams won't give you the opportunity to win the ball in their own fucking box. Like most of the bottom teams are just going to kick it long and not try and play through you guys. It was just like I was watching. I was just like, what is this? Like,
yeah.
No part of this makes me think like, oh my God, Spurs are fucking humming. I want triple Spurs attack.
Yeah.
It was obviously a good game, not a bad game, but like, I don't know.
I'm not extrapolating from this game that, oh yeah, they're going to be finding some, great rich vein of form looking forward. I mean, they have at Man United, at Brighton, neither of those are good.
But
home
then
Western,
they have a good run.
Yeah, home Western, at Palace, home Villa, home Ipswich. Those are better.
Talk to me then. That's kind of like my point of view. Is like maybe an 8.
Which is
someone.
Probably not even then because it's after the international break and that's a mess. But, they have at City in 12. But, you're looking at, before and after 12 as you have a little bit of a space there.
That's a run.
But we also, they're in Europe, so... I don't know. It's just so hard for me to look at them and think of Son versus his competitors in the FPL slot as being like, I want him.
That's
even
why
Matto,
I think it's maybe Dom.
Yeah,
maybe Dom,
be.
Right? Like that's it. What I'm imagining is like Dom looks good the next couple, and he doesn't play for fucking England. He's not good enough. And then in 8, we're doing like Kaida Dom.
I could see that.
I'm happy with that. Like in theory, that makes a lot of sense to me. Got his goal finally. He's just going to play 90 every game. He's good.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. So maybe that's something to keep in the back of your mind. But Matto, I'm just not interested. I need to see a lot more than just this one game where he got a goal and an assist. And he's been playing better recently.
Yeah, he's been good. Yeah,
he's starting every game, but he just still is a little bit too lightweight for me with, the other options in the game.
What do you think about Porro also? And Joe Walsh, cousin Joe Walsh said, where are we at on Porro? Ozzy said, is Porro still a hold? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's hard. It's hard to make the case for him to me, honestly.
Really? Even on a wild card?
Yeah, I do. I think it's hard. I mean, I think the price point's really prohibitive. I think if he was 5, it would be a lot more interesting. But, them keeping cleans just feels like an absurdity to me. So many things have to go right for them to actually go through a 90-minute game without, someone, Van de Ven not winning that one duel at midfield to let the other guy go and clean.
Midfield.
Like that's what they're doing all game long. So, them keeping more than 8 cleans feels...
What they keep last year was it was like 7 or 8, right?
7, I think. Yeah. I mean, they should be around 8. So I feel like his attacking output, I know they've had some tougher games lately, has been a little bit down, Porro, just watching the eye test.
100% has.
Yeah, I mean, they've made a lot of changes in the team. I mean, they're trying to integrate Dom. He's still trying to find their best team. Odegaard just went down. Who's playing in midfield? Like, all of these things really affect what Porro's role and responsibility is. So until things get settled personnel-wise, and he's showing that he's attacking a shit ton. The set pieces are a lot less than they used to be last year when we liked him a lot, and he got 8 assists or whatever. So, and then also just looking at the price point, it's so competitive. Looking at even like Timber, I'm like, and we have Rico, we have Timber, we have
0.5 away Robbo, from all the 6-0 guys.
The Arsenal guys, like.
Yeah, Gvard, Robbo.
Gvard, I mean, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I have this battle in my head of like, do I listen to where I was at on the LR pod and our post-mortem and our post-mortem and our preseason pods of like I was trying to listen back to the me and LR pod today. I didn't finish all of it, but I got to the Porro part.
Yeah.
And it was after game week 3 is when we potted. And I was like, listen, he's going to blank Arsenal and Brentford. Those are 2 like bad games for him. He's probably going to be off 3 points in those 2 games combined. And then they have a run of like no really bad fixtures except away Man City for a long time. They're not great. There's not a lot of great fixtures, but
for a clean sheet,
yeah.
I mean, how many cleans do you see there? Like, I see 2 maybe for like 10 games.
I just don't know.
They're away, like home. West Ham, if they're still fucked up, like maybe they squeak there in a Darb. Like, I don't know. West Ham usually fucking score. Home Ipswich, maybe that's it. But like,
that's
I don't know. I'm just like, where are the cleans coming from? I just have such a hard time seeing it with them, you know?
Totally. I mean, but that's the thing is like, where did the cleans come last season? Like, I feel like they didn't come often.
They were 7 of 38 games. I mean, they came 1 in 6 games, which is a wildly low number. So if it's 1 in 6 games and he puts up, double-digit assists and a few goals, then like that's pretty good. Isn't that good? Yeah, that's a good combo. I'm not watching him this year looking like, oh yeah, he's going to get something like 11 attacking returns. Like he doesn't look that way to me. Like he did in the
if
first
you don't
2
believe
weeks,
that, then that's for sure not a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think that much has really changed because they had like a bad, the Arsenal game, forget about it. They were never going to clean that game, even though they almost did. And then Brentford, I expected it went exactly as expected. Brendan playing on the break and getting chances. But, we're just removed from that Newcastle game where he's like taking 6 shots and crossing relentlessly. And I'm like, should I, because of 2 bad matchups, be like, he's no longer attacking anymore? I don't think so. That's where my wrestling comes in. So
sure.
I'm going to try and hold him and listen to my past self.
Okay.
Is he going to 100% end up in my team? No, he's not on the list of 4 guys I gave earlier, but he might.
Yeah.
He might.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely someone to consider and to weigh up against the other options and see where you feel best. And
yeah. Let's jump to some wildcard questions. We're just jumping around all episode. Chris G said, I'm on wildcard trying to pick between Poro and Kai versus Gab and Dom. Assume I'll have Raya, but no other Spurs guys. What do you think? So, very relevant, I guess, question.
That's a weirdo question.
Really weird question. There's got to be some other combination that we like more. I don't know how to fucking...
I don't know. Bad question. Next question.
Yeah, bad question. Another, if this, then that. Parma said Raya and Colwill versus Bob Sanchez and Gabriel. Another tough question.
It's hard to say without looking at the rest of the defense, but I cannot see past Raya.
Yeah.
I just can't. Like, I just think that, answer. Him compared to all the other goalkeepers, I don't think it's close. So any combination with Raya and others, I'm going to pick Raya every time. I think the correct answer is Raya and Gabriel and figure out the rest of your shit.
Figure out, get the money from somewhere else. Yeah. Gavi said, who's the best second premium defender to get on wildcard after Trent? I mean, is it now just clearly Gabriel?
I think it should be, yeah. I mean, it's obvious for a reason. Like, they're running all
on
these
every single corner, and they cheat in order to get him a free header, and it works. It fucking works.
It's worked 2 times.
He should have scored. He should have braced against City. Got 2 massive sitters.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know what more you need to see.
It could stop. Like, we could have seen the crest and the end of the wave here, and this doesn't happen anymore. That's possible.
Like,
the refs do something, someone behind a back door calls Arteta and says, like, this can't happen anymore, stop cheating. Or the ref at the beginning of next game goes up and says, don't do this or I'll book you.
that it's only the refs. Like that, like refs. That's the only way that it stops. And I have little to no faith that that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just beat Spurs because of it and then got a point from City because of it.
Yeah.
So like, if the refs aren't calling it in those games, I don't think they're fucking calling it against fucking Leicester.
Yeah, as long as this is happening, Gabriel is definitely the second best defender pick in the game, and you should probably have him.
Yeah. He's on my probably list, I would say. I was really, really excited about getting Ben White for 3 game weeks, and then he didn't start, and I'm just like, oh, he has like a niggle knee injury type of thing. Now I just can't. I can't go.
And especially with them, I mean, they have Bayern or PSG or no. Villa have Bayern. They have PSG. They have PSG between these 2 bankers, and if Ben White is niggling his life away,
we know
that's another thing. Just to note, I mean, they have PSG between these 2 promoted sides at home. So who's not playing?
Who's playing 270 minutes? Saka. Raya, Gabriel Saliba.
Maybe.
I don't know who else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I don't even think like Rice is 270, 100%.
Yeah.
He could go like Partey George against fucking Leicester.
Yeah, I mean,
and they will easily win.
Yeah, we've seen him do some weird team sheets last year when they played home banker promoted sides. I think there was one where they who was that? You remember that game they fucking destroyed them and like some defender didn't play and I think White got a goal or something and then something
West Ham maybe.
I think it was against I don't know. But yeah, I mean it's not beyond the realm for him to throw in some spanners in the works there and it's a little bit
little sketch,
little nerve-wracking.
Although
I'm worried about Kai.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Kai because I mean like 2 weeks ago, right? LR Pod, he's 100% of my team. So excited, can't wait to own Kai. And now
working so hard every game. Like, how can he keep doing this?
That's the thing, though, right? I don't think he'll have to in the next two.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they'll make him work hard. I think they'll just give the ball to Arsenal and be like, okay.
He'll just be drifting and floating around in the box or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he had 5 incomplete passes last game. And the rest was just dog work. Like, that's not what's going to happen in these games.
But to do this the last 2 or 3 games, which is what he's been doing, he played for Germany.
Takes a toll.
They have the midweek, where it will be tougher.
Yeah.
Like, how many minutes? He's going to be on, 1,500 minutes in a month.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's worrying.
I'm
yeah. I mean,
I'm just worried about it.
Someone on our live stream shouted Jesus. And while it's an insane punt, he'll probably start at least one of the games against the promoted sides.
100%.
Right? At striker.
Yeah, he'll definitely start at least one.
So there were a few people in Discord. I hadn't heard of this until today, yesterday. But there were a few people in Discord talking about they're just going to use their transfers to get Arsenal guys, and then wildcard in 9, I think, to get rid of them. And I was like, that's fine. I don't mind that.
Interesting.
But
sure.
If you're doing that, I feel like Jesus should be on the list. If you're just I'm just these 3 fixtures, I'm just trying to get as many Arsenal points as possible. I'm Jesus is a pick. But
yeah.
Cherry asked about Timber. Is he a cheaper way into Arsenal defense? Big Daddy, is it worth prioritizing double Arsenal defense? Is Timber a pick? Same shit. And then Yuval, Arsenal attacking stocks are low purely through game state and position. Are Kai and Saka locked on wildcard? The answer for Saka is definitely yes. But what about Timber? What about Kai? I don't know what to do. I think I'll have Kai.
Yeah.
I think
you just want to roll and play the fixtures and play the attack.
What can I do? I mean, the Spurs game was fucking weird. They had no Odegaard, no Rice. They just parked and did nothing. City game, they're down a man for 50 minutes. I just don't know what to do about those. They're not even data points. I'm just those basically didn't even happen. I
hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
What, are you looking at Timber? Is he a pick?
I think he's a pick for sure. Yeah. I do. I mean, he covers a lot of spots and, he seems, it seems like he's exactly like an Arteta player. He's a fucking feisty, vicious cunt who just terrier, nibbles, goes crazy all the time. Does 100, he's the annoying kid on the team. That just won't stop fucking with the other guy, and the other guy's what's wrong with you? And he's
started
how many
every game, right? Except game week 1. Except game week 1.
Yeah, but he
started
all
the
4
other
other games
and the Champions League game.
Yeah,
so he's first choice.
Yeah, he's first choice. I mean, I think he's a really good pick. He's 5'5". You save a little. It's maybe not enough of a savings to Saliba or Gabriel, which is because you're gonna expect as Calafiori keeps getting minutes in him and being trusted that those are the guys that are gonna maybe share a spot
I think so.
Timber and Calafiori, whether that's to spell someone else or the other 4th defender spot. So they might end up cannibalizing each other, but we're not there. And this doesn't have to be a 2-month-long pick. So for right now, Timber looks really fit. Like he looks fine to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I like him.
And
I like him.
I mean, listen, he offers less than none attacking or bonus potential. He can't complete a pass. He doesn't attack ever.
Him or Kai?
What?
Can't complete a pass. Him or Kai?
Oh, well, both, actually.
Okay.
But Timber, Kai usually can. Timber, I feel like, can't even in normal game states.
Yeah, it's hard for him.
But 5-5 with their potential for legit 3 cleans on the bounce. Like, they're that level of just like, when they score 1 goal, they're shutting down the game. So, it's a pick. It's probably a pick.
Okay. All right.
Doobie said on Wildcard, outside of Boomo and the premiums, it feels bad to just have a ton of 5-ish million guys in midfield. Could you name 3 players in the 7 to 9.5 range that you'd prefer to a big forward and 5-5 guys in midfield?
Well, I don't know about the comparative, like preferring them, but just to throw names out there, where are you at on Bruno?
I haven't looked at him.
He keeps putting numbers up. Like he looked more like, again, he should have scored many points.
Again,
the dodging is out of control. Out of control. I mean, it changed as Glasner fixed the
second
personnel.
half. Palace were better. Yeah.
But I mean, Bruno was like more or less just free, right? Like he was just in a free role, and
Pens.
I mean, he's worth Pens. I mean, if they win a pen, we expect him to take it. He's not, I don't think he's like incredible value, but he's certainly someone to consider, right?
Yeah, he should be considered. He probably won't make the team. It's kind of like where I'm at. Like 8.5 is just a lot. And,
he's 8.2 or 8.3 now.
Oh, 8.3, yeah, whatever. Yeah. But, like Diaz is still there.
Yeah, where are you at on Diaz? I mean,
we
need
to talk about Diaz.
Yeah, let's talk about Diaz.
Yeah, I mean, you've
70 minutes,
Diaz
70, 60, 65, 70 are the last 4 minutes he's played.
Diaz feels like a massive call for wildcarders. Jow said, is Diaz a pick or do Pool have too many guys? I mean, it's tough because that NFO game, which is obviously the one game Liverpool lost, he wasn't even supposed to start. Slot came out and said, I wanted Gakpo to start that game. He came back, wasn't 100% fit. The medical team told him to start Diaz instead. He started Diaz instead. And he didn't do shit. And Liverpool didn't do shit and function. And then Gakpo is fucking amazing in Italy. Come back. Diaz back in the lineup. Bangs another brace. He's been on fucking fire. He's getting huge chances in the box. He has 5 goals. He looks incredible. The fixtures, at Wolves... Sorry, they have a cup game, which he almost certainly will not start, which means, like, for me, the chance of him starting at Wolves is very high.
Yeah.
The question is, how many starts are you getting in the next 3? Because then it's Champions League, at Palace, international break, home Chelsea, Colombia, home Chelsea.
Arsenal. Problems on the horizon for him.
Problems on the horizon. I'm still very worried. I wish I had him for, this one game week. He's a fucking amazing pick. Yeah. I still just don't really believe he's in the best team, the best wildcard team that I can make.
Yeah, I agree.
Problem waiting to happen.
Yeah, I think it's a hold if you own, don't buy.
Yeah.
Sell soon.
Honestly, sell soon.
I mean, we have to look at what the Champions League team is midweek. We'll see the Cup week, Wolves, because there's a good chance here that he plays Wolves, Champions League, not Palace.
Yes.
Right? So
yes,
you're holding on to your bums. And then he goes off to Colombia. Right.
Yeah.
So the smart play might be, if you own him, to let him go for Wolves, assuming he doesn't play in the Cup game. And then just sell, like he'll play and say, in this scenario where he starts Wolves and starts Champions League, sell him before Palace, and just thank him for the points. And then,
if he starts Wolves and not Champions League, hold him one more.
You hold him. You hold him one more. One more.
Yeah.
But it begs to notice this of like, they have so much strength in depth with Gakpo and Darwin, with him and Jota, that this is what it's going to be like all year. Where it's going to be the 4 of them for the 2 spots, and as long as they have Europe, like we're not going to know what's going on. And, they're going to play 60, they're going to play 30, they're going to play 60, they're going to play 30. It's like, it's not pretty. So
yeah, and the new Champions League, I feel like offers like another, not just the extra matches, but the format is just another wrinkle that we don't know how to deal with, right? Like
how managers are going to deal with it.
How managers are going to deal, right? Because if it was group stage, like it has been for the last decade, and AC Milan were the second hardest fixture in Liverpool's group, and they destroy them, and then they were going to like their fourth pot team, we'd be like, oh, it's fine. They'll just play the fucking backups. That's a joke of a game. They already have 3 points away Milan. Like they're easily going to get through. But now it's like, I don't even know how many wins they need. It sort of feels like you need to just keep winning games until you don't. But yeah, I don't know how managers are going to approach it, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and then, the other part of the
question, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he should be. The other part of the question was just like the 5-5 mids.
Talk to me about the 8th attackers, because one question I had for you is like, are there any of these guys in the 5-5 to 6 range, if we want to include some forwards in there? Are there any of them that isn't an 8th attacker? It's a 7th attacker that you're comfy starting every week. Are there any of them that are good enough?
I mean, I don't think every week, like sight unseen forever. I think they all need, you always want to look at the fixture and in an ideal world bench them. But I mean, I think they're a good like 6 players or something. Like you have DCL, João Pedro, who, he's divisive at the moment, but I think that
crutches.
I mean, we'll have to see and learn more about him. But I mean, like DCL and him, they both have Wood. Like they all have pens, and they're on mid-table.
Wood is high on my list.
Yeah, they're pens, mid-table, non-Europe teams with pretty decent fixtures. I mean, João Pedro is less good, but I mean, these are the kind of players like their considerations. You have Rodgers.
The mids are harder.
I mean, Rodgers, Semenyo. I think Semenyo is really, really really good pick.
Love him. He's probably in my team, especially because of Southampton and Leicester next. But I don't want to start him home Arsenal, home City in 8 and 10.
And that's why you need to have 8 attackers. So like you're able to kind of bob and weave with this pick. And I mean, Dibbling is also worth mentioning. He's 4 or 5 and he looks great, and they just kind of fucking run around and play crazy games. So if he's going to be able to...
Someone asked about Dibbling. X50 said, is it unreasonable to have Rodgers and Dibbling as your 7th and 8th attackers? And that's thin.
It's thin. It's risky. You're always a double switch away from getting out of that. So I'm never going to kill you for that if you don't have other like equally as insane or equally as risky spots on your team. Like if you have Rico and 2 4-0 defenders for your third, it's like, okay, kind of thing. But but like, with Dibbling's in there and McNeil's in there, ESR's in there. They're just a lot of guys.
Because of the fixtures, I think McNeil, DCL, Wood. You can start. You legit can start him every week, in my opinion.
Who? Wood?
Those guys.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but Semenyo, you're gonna want a rotation. I mean, Rodgers.
I don't know about that with Semenyo though, because I mean, he did just score against Liverpool, and it was a marginal offsides. I mean, look, he's playing Arsenal and City, so you don't want to start DCL against them. Like, you don't want to start any of these players against Arsenal and City. No, I know, but I'm just saying. I know that, but I'm just saying from like just looking at these picks, like none of these picks you want to start against Arsenal, Liverpool, or City.
Yes.
So then but then you're just looking at the fixtures of when they fall. You're
just saying you're just ranking them by who has them and not. And Semenyo has 2 of them, which is tough.
Which is tricky. Which is tricky because you could play the rotation game with, Yeah.
But Rodgers, I mean, he finally comes through. They're looking pretty good. He plays 90 every single week. I mean, their fixtures are okay still. I mean, right there. Away Liverpool in 11, but the other ones are fine attacking fixtures. They'll be favored in all those games. Rodgers is still really good. I'm still just looking at my team and I'm like, I didn't think I'd be here, but I'll probably just have Rodgers. He's still the cheapest and he's still really good. And finally, some guys finished the huge chances that he created.
Yeah. My one thing with Villa, I'm just so worried as Europe carries on of what that's going to look like. I mean, like they have like
but
this
so far
week,
so
right?
good.
Yeah, it's been one game.
They won their
like
game.
They have Ipswich and then they have Bayern.
Yeah.
And then they have Man United. I'm like, they also were generally dysfunctional for an hour against Wolves. And I'm like, they've been dysfunctional in every game for large periods of every game.
Yes.
And
that's a fact.
I'm a little bit worried about Villa in general, honestly. And
they lost McGinn for a long time. He starts every game for them.
Yeah, which I actually think might be a blessing in disguise. I'm not worried about losing McGinn because in terms
of depth, it's not good.
Yeah,
because they're losing guys.
They got Bailey back.
They got Bailey back, which is nice.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I'm more talking about this with Watkins more in mind about his price, because having a back burner concern of like how are they going to hold up when you're talking about your 5 million midfielder matters a lot less than when you're talking about your 9 million forward.
Yes.
I mean, look, he was unbelievably fortunate for that goal to have gold, because
huge deflection.
Should not have been a goal. It was just a lucky bouncing, sliding deflection off of a shot that should have just been blocked.
Yeah.
And, you know, when they aren't functioning for large periods of time, and then they seem to start functioning only and exclusively when Duran comes on.
I know.
Who could sometimes just be the Ollie sub. Like, it's a little bit concerning there. But I mean, from the depth and the strength and depth standpoint, like you're talking about, as they get, you know, the bigger game is not at Ipswich, it's home Bayern. Like, so how is Ebenings gonna negotiate that? Like,
we just
I guess
don't
it's
know.
also, we don't know. But it's also just looking at these picks of like, we're talking about Lucho and Jota and, you know, as Europe wears on, who's at risk, right? Like even Kai, right? Well, you know, they're missing Odegaard, so they're a little bit in a different place. But like these 5-5 guys, while they're 5-5, and we can look at the fixtures and say like, oh, that's not a good fixture, you want to bench them. You know that they're playing 90 and they're just playing a game a week. And like finding the reliable 5-5 guys or the 6 guys or the 6-5, like the non-Europe nailed 90-minute players. And I get Semenyo just got subbed against Liverpool, but those are that's like, we've been talking about that preseason as that being an edge, right?
Which is, maybe I should be listening to this and being like, actually, it shouldn't be Rodgers, right? Because this is the exact part of the season where he's going to not play 90 every game all season. He's not playing fucking 5,000 minutes this season, right? So maybe I should be looking at that spot.
If it's 8th attacker and you don't have a 6 guy that you're going to want to rotate, it should be Dibbling. It just should be. You know, I mean, for what we know right now.
Adama, Dibbling.
Yeah, or Adama. I would probably put Adama, if I was wildcarding, I would put Adama over Rodgers, just because
the minutes.
There's no change. All Adama's been doing is what we would hope Rodgers to be doing, return-wise.
Yes.
And he just plays a game a week. And we're not looking at Villa blowing teams away. He's not shooting to some, like, Rodgers doesn't have some underlying outstanding shooting metrics that are going to normalize
didn't
to
even
the
take
mean.
A shoot. Yeah.
He didn't take a shoot. Yeah, didn't take a shoot. And, you know, so from that standpoint, like, I want the security, because, like, right, you're wildcarding. You're picking this player for 10 game weeks. You don't want to spend a transfer on him.
Probably 20, because again, I never want to use a transfer there. Yeah.
Sure. So, I mean, I think Dibbling is really interesting, and it's a little riskier because you know he's not going to start every game because he's fucking 12 years old. He doesn't wear shin pads, but you're not going to play like you're not relying on this pick. If you need this pick to rotate, then maybe it shouldn't be either of them. Like maybe then it should be a 5-5 guy, and you should
never want to rotate in Dibbling. I never want to be like, oh, Rodgers had Bayern, I need him to start or I'm fucked. It's just about where you put your risk, I guess. I mean, Giannis asked, like, should we consider Duran over Rodgers? Which is dumb because he doesn't start it. He literally hasn't started a single game. But at the same time, he scores every fucking game except one. And he subs on every game. And he'll definitely start some games. Eventually, he has to start some games. Maybe it's Ipswich before Bayern. I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Yeah. And then Golf said, it feels slutty, but how are we feeling about Carvalho as the 8th attacker / bench fodder? Seems like he has the spot while Wissa's out. Likely headache down the road, though. That's
I just
a fucking
feel like,
mess, dude.
Yeah, I think any non-Bumo pick is just a complete no, thank you.
I'm still interested in Shada.
Well, you are perverted for Shada, but I mean, they're just not playing well enough, and we don't know who the minutes are going to fall to, and we don't know if they're going to be functioning very well. So outside of Bumo, I don't think there's a pick on the team.
Yeah. Their defense is so bad.
Forget about the defense.
A lot of people have asked about it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, don't even.
Flecken? No, thanks.
No, thank you. But do you think you might just jam Shada in because you're just a stan?
I might. Yeah, I mean, I would like everything that I was worried about Carvalho came true in the Spurs game.
Yeah.
He was just completely anonymous, completely useless, could not get on the ball ever, wasn't an outlet, yada, yada.
Well, that's why we were sitting here and saying he should never play in the two. It would be Shada.
Right. And then Shada comes on. I mean, like, Vicario made an insane save. He probably should have had. That should have been a goal. It was a really good header. He's big. He's fast. He's everything that they need. And I just think, like, in this very long run of very good fixtures, still think there's goals there. Goals and assists for him.
Yeah. Okay.
What else here? Ethical. I'm on Wildcard. I feel like everything revolves around what I do with Mo and Holland. I have them both. Just tell me what to do. Give me the correct answer, please and thank you. I think we already did this, right?
Yeah, it's Saka and Holland, right?
Yeah. I think you start there.
What about doing Saka, Holland, and Palmer? Where are you at on Palmer? Are you playing with him? Like, I love him, but I haven't
really played with him. No, I mean,
he's just forsaken because of the numbers.
It's just really hard because Trent, again, immovable. Saka, Holland. It's just, you run out of money really fast.
Yeah,
you just do.
Fair.
I mean, like,
yeah, that's fair.
I'll play with it for sure. By Thursday, I'll have some freemium drafts, but I'm never capping Palmer. I'm never capping Saka, basically, at this point. I think the way to look at it with Holland at this point is, are there any game weeks you're not captaining him? As of now, game week 13 at Liverpool.
That's it.
And game week 24 at Arsenal. Those are the 2 game weeks in the foreseeable future. And game week 24 is not even foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Those are the only times we're not capping him. So spending 35 plus million on 3 players when I'm only capping one of them just feels kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm with you. That makes sense.
Even though I love Palmer, I think he's just still somehow like underrated. He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me with that because what you're saying makes sense in terms of the game standpoint, the game theory standpoint, but then it also, the players and the price points matter. And I feel like there's a huge black hole outside of Bumo from the like 5.5 to 10 million midfield spot. Yeah. So like when that isn't like, because then it becomes the difference is like the premium, the extra premium to the 5.5, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hearing you talk it out like that, I mean, it almost makes it seem like the decision isn't. The decision is almost like Kai or Palmer in a weird way.
Yeah. Or Watkins and the 5.5 or it's DCL and the mid or whatever,
because I think everyone, at least in tinkering, is ending up with like 2 mids that are 5.5 and below, sometimes 3.
Yeah.
So you're obviously not getting the money there to go to Palmer. He's still like 10.5 or something. But Kai or Ollie, like you can make a case there. I think you can make a case there that like, I'd rather just forget about Kai. I have a triple of Arsenal elsewhere. I have Gabriel, Saka, Raya. Forget about Kai. Use all that money to go up to Palmer. I think that's reasonable. Yeah. I'll play with it. Like I feel like I'm giving myself homework, but I'll play with that 3 million. Palmer,
and then I mean, it also the defense matters a lot. I mean, where you go past Trent because you know you
but
should
I'm feeling
also
heavy. I'm feeling heavy.
Yeah, you're feeling heavy, and that makes sense because we have, Arsenal look like keeping cleans and et cetera and so on. But you should also play with Trent and 4.5s, just see what it looks like when you free up an extra 1.5 in defense. And, whether or not that's with Raya or not, like, I don't know. But, you might like the extra upper mid to premium player that freeze
extra.
And just to see what that looks like, because the other thing with when you're on Wildcard is, what do you want your team to look like in 4 game weeks? Like, how are you going to shift it?
Right.
And where are the risks? And you're going to you're going to be saving free transfers moving forward. So, like, how is that going to kind of be negotiated? And
it might be. I was going to bring it up. Brian kind of asked that somewhere. He's a Walsh. What about Eze? And then I had a note separately of the Brian question. It was just like, should Eze not be in my team just because he lost pens? Because 2 weeks ago, him and Bumo were the most immovable wildcard 6 objects in the universe for me. And he lost pens, at least for most of the game until Monteta gets up. He lost pens. And now I'm just like, I completely writ him off. I'm like no chance. He's nowhere near my team, but I just don't know if that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, if he finished one of his 2 enormous chances and put 10 up against Man United, what are we talking about today? How are we looking at this differently?
Yeah.
Did you see the video that someone posted about before the pen that Mateta took, like him and Eze, like having a fucking, he was like, they were having a discussion.
Oh, really?
For the penalty. Like, he was at the spot, like, and there was like gesticulating and like there was an argument basically. It looked like, and Eze eventually backed off and went to
I like that
byline to the edge of the box wherever you go and you don't take. So I don't know. Like, I've been really trying to scrutinize the Eze spot because I want Semenyo really badly, and I just like we aren't functioning. And Glasner's clearly mixing and matching and trying to figure out, like, what is this team going to look like?
Half of every game, Palace are like, what the fuck team is this? Horrible.
And it could be 0 to 45. It could be 30 to 60. It could be 7. It could be 60 to 90. I still just keep watching him every game, and he's just farming chances.
I know.
And he's crazy. Typically over XG. He's getting fouled. He's on direct freeze. I think he's going to take the next pen, and
still takes corners.
He hasn't subbed off once. So I just like keep coming back around, and there's
still
no Europe.
The main man.
Main man, no Europe. Like, I still just keep coming back around to just like, I'm going to regret getting rid of him. And all of the downgrades to the 5-5 guys, even though it's, it's a significant amount of money, you're freeing up 1.5 or something. Yeah. I just feel like I'm wasting transfers, and I'm going to be being upset. I'm going to get upset later. So I was like, at the beginning of the week, I was like, okay, the Eze spot's gone. He's gone. And as the weeks progressed, or the week, I mean, it's fucking Monday, but as the days progressed, I'm like, hours. I think I should just, I think I should just hold him. And it's also for me, like, I love watching Palace more when I have Eze, because he's such a god.
It's hard to
and he's not going to be on Palace next year.
Yeah.
So like I'm personally like, I think I need to just fucking chill.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to get
points. He also has
Everton.
Fine. He has the arguable second best fixture in the league right now.
It depends if Brandt is playing.
I assume he's not, right? He's still not even on the fucking bench.
Well, he started a U21 game last weekend. Huge scenes.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I don't think he's going to start. But yeah, I mean, but you're off for now?
Well, yeah, for now. I haven't done that type of thing where I have like 5 screenshots saved in a folder of my tinkers. I'm mostly just farming money, which, by the way, I think I'm actually going to get some double rises and farm this week, which is really rare these days. But it looks like it's going to happen. So that's mostly what I've been doing. I think Diaz will double rise. I think Nico will double rise. Maybe just them. And maybe Barnes. Probably not.
More than I got.
Yeah. I mean, getting 2 feels like a huge win.
Yeah. And you dodged some droppers too, right?
Dodged some droppers. Cash in on ESR.
Yeah.
I mean, making some money. Farming's going well.
Hey, look at you.
What's the bank called in Harry Potter again? That's because I'm one of the bankers now. Yeah. Bank my deal. Yeah, so Seymour said on Wildcard 6, looking at rostering 3-4-5 to 4-0 defenders, who are the best picks? Who are the traps? Are there any potential rotations that look good? Have not looked at rotations.
No, rotations is a very...
Not our job. It's your job.
Yeah, very personal, specific question.
Yeah,
But,
it's not our job. But 4-5s that are good. There definitely are some.
Colwell's like, for me, very high.
Why Colwell over Fofana? Just because Fofana got played poorly at right back for one game?
He's also like a midget, and Colwell's not. So, I mean, if you're giving me some set piece threat, like I like Colwell a little bit more there. And he's also, I don't know. I just like Colwell. I don't know.
That's fine.
I don't know what to tell you.
I was just wondering if there was something else.
No, nothing. Yeah. I mean, I just imagined. I don't think Colwell's a very good set piece threat, and they don't seem to give a shit about set pieces either. But yeah, Dunk. I still like Dunk. I still believe in Everton long term when they get Brandt back.
I still believe in Dyche. Yep.
Yeah, so like Michaelenko, I still like. The NFO picks are there.
I like them.
They look good.
Murillo and Milenkovic and even Aina.
Yeah, still like Leaf.
Yeah, Leaf is good.
And Man United, just another mid-table team who just are solid. They're just solid. Ugarte's gonna keep getting worked in. We said this in preseason and we were so fucking spot on. You just gotta forget about them as a top 6, top 8 team. They're not. They're bad. You don't want to play your guy against Liverpool or Brighton. They got spanked in those games and their picks are bad. But guess what? They fucking cleaned home Fulham, cleaned at Southampton, cleaned at Palace. Yeah. Those are the games you start them and they fucking cleaned. That's perfect. Producer Nate's just been farming Mazraoui points. Yep. I still think they're a good defense for rotational at least. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of picks. Like, I don't think it's crazy to do Trent and four or 5 guys. Like, that's reasonable.
I'll play with it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, how much are you saving if you do 4-4-5s compared to a 6-0, a 5-5, a 4-5, and a 4-0? I mean, you're saving like what, $2 million?
Yeah, I think exactly $2 million.
It's a lot. I mean,
that's a lot of money.
So, I mean, if you're not expecting Gab to score every game, then that looks like an option.
Yeah, I'll definitely play with that. Play with that, or somewhere in between, right? Like,
sure,
just 2 premiums, not 3, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Konate,
or maybe that's where Konate comes in.
We have not mentioned Konate much, and Voltaire asked about him. Brian asked about him. I mean, what are you thinking with him?
Well, I mean, another defense that you could look at is Trent, Konate, Rico, Man United, Colwell. Like,
that's insane.
Something like that. I mean, you're saving a bit of money. You have a lot of depth. I mean, something like that could be a little bit
playing
too...
just like, it's like in a weird way, it's safe because of the depth, but it's also high upside because of the teams.
Yeah, but it's also a house of cards.
It's also
if any of them get hurt, all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh,
your team is bad.
Shit's kind of, the whole thing's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
But
Konate, dude, I mean,
good pick.
It's part of the readjusting to a non-Klopp team is he just starts every game, right? This would never happen. Klopp's big on like the medical staff. He listens to all that shit. Maybe he's just going to start every game. I mean, why would it stop now? He plays well every game. He's so fucking good. 5-1 now. And listen, I think the other big change that we've been all kind of adjusting to is just Liverpool's just a really good defense.
Yep.
Like even, Bournemouth took a fucking million shots. Like none of them are good. There was like one good chance. Everything else is just outside the box, whatever, like easy saves.
The offsides goal lingers.
That was the one. And he was off. He was clearly off, so like...
With Konate, I'm more suspicious about what was going on with him and Klopp because I don't know if that had medical staff or if he just didn't. There was something about him that he didn't like because we kept talking about like that patch of like later last season where he was just fit but he was just not playing. It's like what's going on here?
Yeah,
and he's clearly showing himself to be an absolute monster and at 5 million, he feels like a great pick. Yeah, he just seems like a great pick. And if that's the kind of thing where, for me, like I have Robbo, and I'm reasonably happy to have him. And the way my defense is structured, though, like with Lewis and Powell and Greaves, like I couldn't just do like Robbo to Kanate. Like my whole thing's a mess.
Not. Yeah,
but like you could do something there. Like there's something there. There's an edge there. And
the only thing with the 4-0s is that you never want any of them to play. Like, there are nailed guys, obviously, right? There's Greaves, there's Foch, there's fucking Bednarek. Yeah, but like they're bad. Okoli, like they're bad. Their teams are bad, and I never expect cleans in no matter the fixture. So while they're nailed, they should be your 15th player. There, you want them to never ever play. So it's a little bit of like, I think people will probably build teams where they have like dual 4-0s on the bench. It's like, that's bad. You're fucking like, you're going to get 1 and 0 pointers from these guys. And, I don't know.
Yeah. And
I don't know what I'm getting
it's also,
at.
You're looking at like defense, I feel like is the most underrated and unattended to part of everyone's FPL team, whether you're wildcarding or otherwise.
Not yours.
Because, well, I mean, whatever, but there's like, your team looks so much worse when your defense isn't just stable. And you have to imagine, how can this fail, and like do everything you can to kind of prevent the fail case from occurring, because you don't want to be spending transfers on defense. Like you just don't want to be doing it.
You just don't.
And, when you make it riskier, then the chance in 3 game weeks of something going wrong and you having to look at this and be like, oh, I need to use 2 moves in defense because I fucked it so bad.
Yeah.
That affects, that could like tank your season or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you want to really just kind of be considerate and thoughtful about like, how can this go wrong? What's the chance that it could go wrong in this way that I imagined it to? And, is this an acceptable risk? Because you just want to be shored up there.
Yeah, and I need to, not that I've been considering like a fucking Villa or defender or something like that, but that lesson that we kind of both learned with you going POW is just like, fixtures are such bait in some specific circumstances, and like they haven't been bait for Villa attackers, right? Ollie's getting points, Rodri's getting points, they're good. But like a bad defense is a bad defense. You're going to concede chances. They're going to do, Emmy's going to do something dumb. Diego Carlos is going to give away a fucking ball. They're going to concede a set piece. I think they have no cleans, right? And that's not like a fluke.
They have actual 0.
They don't, they have not deserved a clean.
Yep. No, totally. Yeah. I mean, at the same time, their XGC is also hilariously low.
Yeah, it's so low.
You're looking at a couple of side mouth talkings there, but it's not. I mean, that's just the stats, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, clean sheets are lucky just inherently, but
yeah. All these guys, Doobie, Rico, Parma, Viking, Ozzy, just combining all their questions, they just want us to compare Kai versus Dom versus Ndot. The 3 forwards in the 7 to 8 range who, like I said, Nico's probably double rising. I'm just farming his points. There's 0% chances in my team, even though I love him. I don't know. Is there a pick there? 60 minutes a game? Nico?
I mean, on Wildcard, no. I don't think so. Like, I'm still just Saka 2 defenders for Arsenal. Very, very firmly on that for me.
Oh,
Kai
you think Kai's just not a pick?
If I'm a wild card, I don't think so.
Wow.
Because it's just a transfer waiting to happen. Like, I'd rather structure my team differently where, I have DCL or whomever, or, I mean, even maybe Ollie, maybe I just want Ollie there, where someone who I'm just like, I can hold them for months versus Kai, who is just like, again, it's 2 or 3 game weeks, no Odegaard. I just don't imagine them flowing. I'm worried I'm very worried about them. Yeah. I think I'm a lot more worried about them than you are from an attacking standpoint.
That's for sure. Yeah. Because I'm still just like, I'll probably just get Kai. I still expect them to score like 2 to 4 in both games.
Yeah. And that may be the case, but I think I'm thinking also again more, and you're gonna have a lot of transfers, so maybe it's something that you consider and you set your team up to like, this is my loose plan of what I want to do in a few weeks. But if that's just looking at it now, like if I want to make my team now for the team I'm gonna want in 5 weeks, it's probably not Kai, because I don't like, other than Dom, who maybe could be a pick, who I'm still like very mad on.
Not. Yeah, it's not for
if he
sure.
Doesn't have pens, like I would probably just structure my team differently again, right? Where it would be Haaland and probably 2 cheaper forwards, and I would try and jam in an extra premium midfielder or something, or more money in defense, or Raya with 3 premium defenders, or however that looks, because.
But to me, that's also like, for me personally, I guess for most people on Wildcard will have freeze by the time Kai, you don't want him in your team, right? So for me, it's not really an issue. It's like, even if Dom's not the guy, I just transfer him to one of the cheaper forwards and have 2 million to use on another move or something. So I'm still looking at him, and
it just matters who you can get in mid, like, because if you have a front line of Haaland, João Pedro, DCL, and that lets you get Palmer, instead of a fucking shitter, I'm like, okay, like I like that more. Yeah. And then it's not like
Wood too, by the way. I Wood on pens is a game changer. I mean, that's a game changer.
Wood DCL Haaland, right? Front line.
Very reasonable.
Dibbling as your 5th mid. What does that get you? Like, I don't know. Saka, because then you could do Saka. Can you afford like Saka, Palmer, Bumo, Semenyo? Like, what does that look like? Because then I'm like, oh, that's fucking good,
You're listening now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, these are just like this is the work I'll have to put in the next few days, is basically like the questions that you're asking me. Let's see. Sammy said, how do you guys feel about a punt on a cheap City mid on Wildcard? I'm thinking Savio. I'll have 3 frees in Game Week 7. Can chip him out whenever if he's not playing. City play first in Game Week 6, so there'll be leaks. Yeah, I guess that's true. He does look he looks like returning regularly, but it's not for me, man.
No, he's just too just too much for me. It's going to do Gundo.
I wish Kev or Foden were picks, because City's run is fucking insane. It's fucking insane. And I really wish I had more than just Haaland. But as of now, I just don't. I mean,
is Foden a leap of faith worth taking?
He started 0 games. So
he's due.
Yeah, he's due. I mean, he played 20 minutes, which is like most he's played. And I mean, even with Kev out, he doesn't start. Like, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? I'm just worried that Pep is just pepping. He's fucking 5-heading, and he's like, I want my wide dribbly boy wingers. I'm sick of Foden scoring worldies and sick of Foden scoring 20 goals every season. I wanted to do this now.
I mean, I think it's more likely he's like, you're not starting your season till November. So just chill.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe it's
like he does that all the time.
Maybe it's like, you're not starting your season until September 28th at Newcastle.
Yeah. Well, do.
I might have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and if Foden's in the team, make some changes. Honestly, because this run, it's fucking out of control. And they have no hard Champions League games either.
Newcastle, Fulham, Wolves, Soton, Bournemouth, Brighton, Spurs. Yeah.
It's out of control.
Good.
It's good.
It's pretty good.
There's one bad one in there. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
And what their Champions League games are Bratislava and Praha.
Joke.
So like, there's no need to do anything there. Yeah, Njoku.
How do you fit him in though? He's not cheap.
Well, that would be the no Kai team, right? Like, that would be Wood, DCL, Semenyo, Rogers, Bumo, Saka, or something, and then plop Foden in there. You'd have to drop a premium defender.
Yeah.
I think it's very doable.
Yeah. You could do anything here.
Yeah. That's a huge leap of faith, though. Just like crossing my fingers and toes every single game week to be like, this is the week he starts, right? Right, guys? This is the week he starts. This is the week he's a pick.
Unless if you get a leak and it's this week, when you're on Wildcard.
Yeah, and so if I get a leak this week, I should probably listen to that, right? I mean, if he's ready to start this week. Minutes. Yeah.
I don't know.
I definitely want someone for the run. I think Vard also is just underrated. You know, he's on no attacking returns. He can fucking shoot. His shots versus Arsenal were legitimately incredible saves by Raya. He does a bit of attacking. It's not consistent, but he's still attacking a bit. Enough, I think, to be interesting. So he's a pick.
Yeah.
Oh, there's still so many more questions. You getting tired? You want to?
Oh, do 10 more minutes.
Yeah, 10 more minutes.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I'm lively. Talking about Wildcard is always a lively event for me. Let's see here. Parmo, we talked about this. Blue Bottle, we're definitely not answering that. Arnie said, FPL's a game. Arnie must have had a tough week because of this question. He said, FPL's a game, but one we're doing badly feels bad. Where do you each land on the balance of fun versus points? Alon got a lot of joy from watching Fulham live and owning ESR for it. I doubt there will be many moments in the season Alon would enjoy more, even if it produces fewer points. Curious on your thoughts.
So, like, points are fun and fun's fun? What's the question?
If I do badly in any game, it feels bad.
Yeah, I mean,
is my initial, like, I disagree with the,
Yeah. Doing bad and losing isn't like something I'm setting out to do.
Yeah, I play competitive things and I hope I win.
Yeah.
And do well.
As long as it's on my own terms.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't answer that fucking question.
Know. Yeah.
Geyer said, I'm looking at a hypothetical midfield now. If I bring Haaland in and there's not one midfielder above 7'9", is it too risky structure-wise to not have one expensive midfielder? It's dicey.
Not a single one?
I think it's dicey, but I don't think it's crazy considering you're just capping Haaland every week.
Yeah, I mean, is that just Haaland, Kai, Ali front line with premium defense?
Front line, Bumo, and cheaper guys, and a premium defense? I mean, that's a good team.
Seems fine.
Yeah, right. Like, we like Saka and we like Palmer, but I'm not capping either of them over Haaland. So, whatever.
Yeah, fair.
Very fair.
Fair.
Very fair. Kame Jim a pick? No. Yeah, I mean, I think we can push a lot of these to the next ones. Right. No lifestyles.
Okay.
I'll have a lot of notes to come at you with on Thursday. Thursday, we're going to take questions, but they'll probably just be my notes for the most part. We'll see how that goes.
Sounds good.
Anything else you want to talk about? You're tired. You're losing steam on me.
I had a long day today. I am tired.
Let's get you out of here. Let me slap asses. New Patreon signups. We got Catherine Adams, Braden Owens, James Murphy, Lawrence Guy, Eric Baring, Daniel Cook, Alex Stevens, Kevin Sears, Babatunde Balogun, and Tom Orton. Yes, baby, get in there. Hope you're related to the Balogun, USMT legend, MNT legend. All right, dude. Wish me a nice week of tinkering and questions and all that stuff. And any last words?
I wish you a nice week of tinkering and questions and all that stuff. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Check us out at FMLFPL.com. Follow us at Twitter, FMLFPL Sports Media. /.